friends. I am here to tell you what I am going to be reading in May. I'm so excited. My very first TBR video. Alright, what I'm going to be reading in May, we're going to start with my classic. As we know, I've told everyone before, I do one classic, a poetry collection, and then I also do one genre fiction in the month. I try not to, all three of these things are usually pretty long, so I try not to overdo myself. Now, what I do is I give myself some extra, like if I run through something really quickly, I always have a backup. And so, my first classic that I'm going to be reading is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. And I haven't read this before. I don't think I've read any Dumas, so time to rectify that. And I'm going to be reading The Count of Monte Cristo. And The Count of Monte Cristo is about, let's see what it's about. Dashing young Edmond Dantes has everything. He is engaged to a beautiful woman, is about to become the captain of a ship, and is well liked by almost everyone. But his perfect life is shattered when he is framed by a jealous rival and thrown into the dark prison cells for 14 years. So it sounds like it's going to be a revenge story. So that's going to be exciting. It's very long. It's like, it's not too bad actually after the notes. Like, not even 600 pages. So I can deal with that. 600 pages. Not too bad. My poetry is going to be, the first one I've been working on is by Fernando Pessoa. Yeah, Fernando Pessoa. And I have More Souls Than One. And it's a very short poetry collection, and it is very much in the vein of Mary Oliver. I think took some inspiration from this writer, and they probably took some inspiration from her, to be honest. And it's a very connected to nature and spirituality and things like that. And of course, that's my jam. Love that. So that's what we have, and I'm excited to dig into this poetry collection. And I will let you guys know what I think. And if I think Mary Oliver has got it going on, and we'll see how I feel about this one. And since this is kind of very short, I'm going to be, once I get done with that, I'm going to switch to the complete poems of Emily Dickinson. And I'm probably not going to get through this whole thing in May. It's a lot. I'm not doing a big reading a lot at once. I like to take my time. I like to let my poetry sit and let me think about them for a while. So I'm going to read this slowly. If it'll roll over to next month if it needs to. That's fine. So the complete poems of Emily Dickinson. I've read, of course, one or two Dickinson poems through college and high school and things like that. But this is going to be the first time I'm actually going to sit down and try to actually read her whole collection. So I am excited to dig into that. And if I get, and my fantasy that I'm going to be on my TBR is going to be the Poison Song by Jen Williams. And Jen Williams is a wonderful writer, British writer, and this is the third book in the Winnowing Flame trilogy. And in this trilogy, there are the Aborans. There are humans and there are Aborans. Aborans are like elf kind of like creatures. They're long-lived, and they drink the sap of this tree to get special abilities and to have a long life. But then when that tree begins to die, then they turn to human blood. They start drinking human blood too in order to survive, and that causes a disease to break out, and they are also plagued by these alien type big bug creatures that have been slumbering for a while, but now they're coming back. And to combat these, in the past, they've had these beautiful, the Aborans have had these beautiful beasts, like war beasts that they could ride into battle, that is grown from this tree, and they raise, and since the tree is dying, they don't have their war beast anymore. So it's about how they contend with that, and the growing threat, and characters that are dealing with that threat. And the third book in that trilogy, and there's the great battle, great war going on between the Aborans and the Aboran and humans on one side, and the bug-like creatures on the other. And we talk about that clash and how they resolve that. So I'm very excited. The animal companions in this fantasy trilogy, beautiful. I love it. They have the great personalities, and some are very different from each other. And it's not just, the normal thing. There's all these different kinds. There's bats. There's large bats. There's griffins. There's cat with wings. There's all kinds of things. And dragons as well. I mean, who doesn't love a dragon, right? I'm all here for dragons. So I'm really enjoying it. So we're going to see how the trilogy wraps up. And let me know if you would be interested in my thoughts on all of the trilogy as a whole, or if you would rather I just break it up into talking about each book individually. I'm open to doing either one, or just skipping it all together if you guys are interested in hearing about that. But I am excited about it. It's right up my alley with animal companions and the journey. And there's a very good human element of them coming together, and the characters coming together and growing together and forming their bonds, and it's beautiful. And there's a nice little several different kinds of romance. There's a romance that falls apart. There's a queer romance as well as others. It's beautiful. So I love it. So that is pretty much it. Now there is one more that I am going to do if I have the time. If all of that doesn't take all of May, which it may not. I've been reading them pretty fast lately. I'm going to do Middlemarch. Middlemarch is by George Eliot, and he is one of the first English novelists to discover that men and women think as well as feel, and the discover was a great artistic moment. So let's see what this book is about. Middlemarch is a Victorian novel. It's set in the fictional Midland town. The novel chronicles a 19th century English provincial life through the precisely delineated characters, weaving many stories into one richly textured tapestry. Eliot renders her vast cast with cool irony and intelligence. So I'm excited. This seems like it's a good inspiration for good Victorian English novels. So we'll see what happens. And I'm excited to dive into this. I have heard about it, but I don't know anything about it, but I have heard that it is a good book if you like Jane Austen and if you like those kinds of novels. So I'm excited. I don't even know if it's like a romance or if it's just like a Dickens length of life. I don't know. So we're going to find out. So I'm excited. So I have 3 chunkers, and because the fantasy novel, which I'm reading with Poison Song, the 3rd book in the Wintering Flame trilogy, can't say that word, is also like 600 pages. That's 600 pages. The Kanamata Christo is 600 pages, and Middlemarch is a little bit less. It's about 600 pages as well. A little bit more than 600 pages. And also Emily Dickinson collection is also a chunker. So this was on my TBR, and if I I may add another fantasy to it if I breeze through Poison Song. So we'll see what to see. If I do add anything, I will update. But that is so far my May TBR. And let me know in the comments below what you are going to be reading this month, in the month of May. Oh, by the way, just mentioning it's my birthday month, so I'm excited. I'm going to see if we can do like a birthday chat. If you guys are interested, that would be kind of fun. All right, so have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, have an adventure with reading.